Welcome back to another episode of Sticky's Infusion Experiment. So after our holiday and our honeymoon vacation, one of the things that I took away from that vacation when visiting Amsterdam was that everybody there is limited to 5 grams max. So what could I do with 5 grams if I were to try to infuse it or to use it to make it go longer than just smoking that beautiful sticky flower? So today I'm going to show you guys how I extract, and I'm going to extract only from 5 grams, and then we'll go ahead and infuse it into, I don't know, sugar, butter, olive oil, whatever I decide at the time. But let's go ahead and get started so you guys can see how this works. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to need a mason jar. We're going to need some extracting liquid. I use Everclear water. Wait, don't drink this. Bad idea. Bad mistake. Believe me, I know. But it's great for extracting. You want to have it in the freezer and you want to have it super cold. We're going to need 5 grams from your local dispo and 1 plastic baggie and a grinder unless you want to break it all up by hand. But first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 235 degrees. Now the oven is preheating. We're going to grab the grinder. We're going to go ahead and break this up, get it into our mason jar. Now, there's all kinds of machines that you can buy to do the extraction and make it faster. I'm an old school man, so I believe everything is done through patience. So I do it the old way, so it takes a little longer, but it gets the job done, I believe, better. And then we're just going to break this up through the grinder. We want about rice-sized pieces, really. And what we're doing now is called decarbonization. We're taking off the invisible field around the flower that gives it all that beautiful smell and that beautiful flavored aroma. That same thing also blocks us from getting all of that good sticky juice out of the plant. Now once we have it like that, we're going to place it in our mason jar. You can hear my oven preheating. Now, you want to be mindful of this. Set yourself an alarm if your oven doesn't have one, but you're only going to cook this between 28 and 30 minutes. I'm going to do 28 since it's only 5 grams. I want to play it a little safe. Oh, I made a little bit of a mess. I'm a messy cook. Okay, there's our 5 grams all broken up and ready to be decarbed. So what we're going to do is once our oven is preheated, we're going to take this mason jar, we're going to place it in the oven on its side, and we're going to let it sit in there at 235 degrees for 28 minutes, and then we're going to pull it out. I'm going to place it in a plastic baggie, completely airtight, and then we're going to put this in the freezer for 24 hours along with the Everclear. We're not putting them together yet. You'll see what happens after that 24 hours when we go ahead and add them together. Alright, now that the oven is preheated, the little beepy thing just went off. We're going to go ahead and get this placed in there for exactly 28 minutes. Don't go over that 30-minute mark because you will burn your stuff. Okay, it's been 28 minutes. We went ahead and got it out of the oven. You want to let this cool down before you try to open it. You can see the color has changed. That's good. That means your decarbonization happened. When you open this up, you're going to get a danky, waffy smell throughout the house. So if you don't want it in the house, open it outside once it cools off. But once we have it cooled off, we'll go ahead and get it in to our Ziploc baggie and then into the freezer. All right, now we got it out of the oven. It's cooled off. We're going to go ahead and pop it open. Ooh, love that seal sound. Now I like to take a butter knife and just kind of get the little crusty, the little bits off the side. And then we're going to put it right into a Ziploc baggie. We'll save that for tomorrow. Once we have it in the baggie, we know it's a dark color. what we want. We're just going to tap it out and spread it out so we get it as thin as possible. Once we have it all the way as thin as we possibly can, we're going to get all that air out and we're going to lock it down. Now that we have it completely sealed, it's time to throw it in the freezer along with our Everwater. All right, everybody, it's been 24 hours on our extraction of our 5 grams. Well, on the beginning of it, we've decarbonized. We took off that pesky force field and decarbed it. Once we did that, we put it in a plastic baggie. We put it in the freezer for overnight so that we could get it all nice and cold along with our liquid Everwater. So let's go ahead and get that put together. All right, so we've already got our decarbed flour, sticky flour, 5 grams. And we're going to take that same mason jar we used to decarb it in. We just left it on the counter overnight. We're going to take this. And we got that in there. Now it's time to do the extraction part. So, like I said before, I'm old school. I believe anything that's going to be good takes time to make. So this isn't something you could probably start using this stuff after a couple of hours of doing this, but I always do it for a couple of days. So you guys will see that as we go. We're just going to put about that much in there. Just about that much. We don't need a lot, but we do want to make sure we get everything nice and covered and give us a little extra. We're going to lock it down and we're going to shake it up. And there we go. Now we stick this in the fridge, and about every 25 or about every 15 to 30 minutes I'm going to come back and I'm going to shake it. I'm going to do this for the entire day today, the entire day tomorrow, and then I'll strain it and then we will have our stuff. So I'll be doing this for 2 days on 5 grams, and we'll show you. I'll take shots so you guys can see the color of the water as it starts changing and getting darker. All right, so we've had it in our Everwater, and we've been shaking it every few minutes back and forth. You can see the color that it's becoming. This is day 1. We're going to keep going a whole nother day. So Sunday we'll be filtering it. Okay, so we're on day 3. Unfortunately I didn't get day 2. It was the 4th of July. Things got busy at the house, so we didn't get it. But here's what it looks like. 72 hours or 3 days of extracting out of that 5 grams. We're going to go ahead and filter it and get it into here. We're going to use a coffee filter, a couple of rubber bands, and make it happen. Huh, I've never done it that way before and it worked. Cool. So we'll let this go until it's fully drained and everything's dripped out of it. And then we will have our complete extract. And I'll show you guys how I make my happy sugar from here. Alright, so once we're all said and done and we've got it filtered through our coffee filter, we should have a nice, clean, clear, green liquid. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do one of my most common infuses, and I do it for Hummingbird because she loves to have a little kick into her coffee in the morning. So we're going to start out with just a half a cup of granulated sugar. I want to see how that looks. I've got a full cup here, so it goes to a half cup, full cup. So then we're going to just take our happy sticky juice. We're just going to pour it right on in. All right, perfect. So I definitely want a whole cup. Probably go a little more than a whole cup. I made a lot more than I expected. Remember, the more sugar you put in, the more you're dividing out your sticky THC. We're just going to take a fork and see what we really got that we're working with. And if you use a little more sugar. just going to mix it up until you get about this consistency. That's what you want. Then we're going to spread it out. Perfect. And then we're just going to take something and we're going to cover it up. You can use a paper towel, put a fork and a knife on each side, however you like. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. We want to let air get in there, but we also want to keep any kind of bug particles or dirt or anything like that out of there. We're going to come back to this every 15 to 30 minutes. We're going to mix it up. We're going to stir it. We're going to keep checking on it. We're going to keep stirring it. If you leave it too long, you're going to get browning on the top. You don't want that. You want to keep this kind of constantly going. Remember, use steel or glass, no plastic. And now we just let it dry. This will take about a day and a half to fully get dry. We'll be back to show you that. All right, so now we're in day 2. It's a Monday, and we're doing the drying process as we're infusing our sugar. So I want to show you guys what it looks like after you let it sit a little longer than 15 to 20 minutes. I got distracted and was busy with something, so here we go. You'll see how it's starting to brown. That's what we want to try to make sure we're not letting happen. It isn't messing anything up. It isn't hurting any of your infusion. But we want to make sure we evenly dry it, just so we don't get it looking funny and some of it is a little more dried out and potent than other parts. So we're just going to go in and mix it up, scrape along your sides. And you don't even have to touch this to know it's getting dry. You'll be able to tell by how much sticks to your fork or knife or whatever you're using to stir with, as long as it's metal or glass. Do not use plastic. And then you see how that much is stuck there? As it dries out, it'll be less and less. So it'll give you a good indication how long you got to go. You're covering it. You don't want to airtight it, but you want to keep it so that it can't get any dirt or debris in there from other people or from other things in the house. Not other people. That's weird. So that's why I placed the forks there and the knife. Create a little barrier so the air can come up, evaporate, and come out. Good morning. So it's Tuesday morning around 6:30 in the morning, and we're gonna see if our sugar's done. So remember I told you, you'll know it's done when you stop sticking to your fork. And it stopped sticking to my fork. We are done. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and run this through a flour sifter so that we can get it back down to its granule form. And then we're going to have a cup of coffee with a couple spoonfuls of sugar in it to start our day. For me, I like to go old school with my sifter. You could use a fine strainer if you wanted to. It's up to you on how you want to sort this. But you will have little chunks that you'll need to break back up. Now you can use plastic here because the sugar is already dry. Then you're gonna wind up with a bunch of chunks like that. All you're gonna do is take your hand, move it around, smash it through, and boom. And you've got ready to go sugar. All right, and once it's all said and done, you should have a little jar. I cut it in this jar here. I usually fill this up with infused sugar, but we only did 5 grams, and we got a little over a cup of infused sugar. You can make cookies, you can make brownies, you can do all kinds of things with this. We're going to use it in our coffee today. A couple of little spoonfuls. Well, there you have it, folks. It took us 5 days to infuse the sugar, extract, and everything all at once, but you got to see the whole process from beginning to end. Coffee's amazing. Absolutely love it. Till next time, I'm not a cook. This is an experiment. Stay sticky, my friends.